most incredible ways to help support our eyesight.
Well, we are blessed with vision, and as we get older, without exception, that vision will change.
Yeah.
That without exception, because without exception, our eyes will change. And just as there's no person, and it's funny for us to, it would be naive to think that, you know, as we age, our joints change, as we age, our skin changes, wrinkles, our hair changes, things like that change. Our eyes change, of course, as well.
Right.
What's fascinating and what's interesting about our eyes is probably more than any other system in our body, our eyes were designed to really try to combat change, because our eyes, more than any other system in our body, they are exposed, their very function means they're exposed to radiation. Not just exposed on the outside, but in order for us to see, that light, and I used to have a little telestrator here, that light has to enter our eye. It passes through the lens of our eye, and of course, depending on bright light or dark light, you know, our iris, our pupil controls the amount of light that enters our eye. But regardless, it passes through the lens of our eye and then is concentrated on the retina of our eye. So that energy, it's just, imagine anything. Imagine if just any spot was hit by radiation, that was magnified radiation over the course of a day or two. We see a newspaper get yellow. We see what happens from light. Imagine if that happened over the course of a lifetime, almost a century. So it's no wonder there are changes, but our body is perfectly designed. In fact, it's perfectly designed to take the ingredients that are in this product and concentrate it in the most vulnerable parts of the eye. And the way our eye works, our eye is incredible. Our body's incredible. Not only does our eye use those compounds to protect itself, but it also uses those compounds to actually improve its vision, to actually deliver the vision, the quality of vision we seek today. So it has immediate delivered benefits when you deliver the macular pigments. It also has long-term benefits. Plus, I should probably read some of the charts this hour that talk about the benefits that it's been observed in study after study after study, that those of us who consume more of these ingredients, the macular pigments that are necessary for our eyes, they're also concentrated in our brain, and those of us with greater concentrations of those macular pigments have brains that will age or tend to age healthier in the clinical studies. That's what's been observed.
It's the highest potency ever, and I just want to go through the pricing that Andrew's been able to maintain this year, because it's the same as last year. You can choose between the Trimes, and of course you can choose the bundles. So if you take a look at the chart, you will see we have our smallest option, which is 40. There's the 120, the 360, the 720, and that's going to be of your Ultimate Eye. So if you take a look at the 720, normally it would be $300. Today it's $159.90, saves you $140. These two down here are the bundles.
We just have 500 of that 720 count.
Of this one?
Yeah.
No.
That's all.
Oh my, okay, I don't think I've ever heard Andrew say that so early on in a day.
No. It's been surprising. I mean, of course, the bundles tend to be the most popular, but the 720, and I've emphasized this. If, you know, in terms of budget, the place to start is Ultimate Eye. If you have the resources to get the Ultimate Eye with astaxanthin, that's fine. But if the resources are only for Ultimate Eye, then I would focus on Ultimate Eye. The 720 count of Ultimate Eye, to get these levels of lutein and both isomers of zeaxanthin, to get the levels of anthocyanins you're getting, to get this comprehensive eye formula at the price that it is today for, I guess it's about 20 cents a capsule, and you could take 1 or 2 capsules a day. I take 2 capsules. If I have a lot of green leafy vegetables, I might take only 1 capsule, but to get that much nutrition at this price, that's really where the best investment is. You don't have to, as much as I love astaxanthin, and astaxanthin is a remarkable compound, right. If your budget is limited, and all of us have our own limitations, then I would stay just with the Ultimate Eye.
And I mean, we're at 20,000 now sold. Andrew, just so I know, does that mean there's only 500 left before we go to extended delivery? Or is that just 500 period?
We'll probably have some form of extended delivery, yes, but it might, with us, again, because we manufacture everything, that extended delivery, we'll be making additional Ultimate Eye capsules tomorrow. Because again, with what I hope everyone realizes, we don't do Today Specials to clear out old inventory. We do Today Special with a special inventory that we create for the Today Special. So this product, if you looked back, say 60 days, I hadn't even figured out exactly what the configuration was going to be. So, which is an impressive statement about my manufacturing and my production department, that they could respond to. It's kind of like when we plan our shows. Yeah. We plan our shows literally within a half hour of the show.
True, it's true.
I want it to be live. I wanted to respond to questions that are asked, so I want our shows to be live. So we tend to be the same way in terms of producing our product. So all of our product is fresh made. So if we run out in the next hour or so, which I'm sure we will, we'll probably run out in the next several minutes. Yes, we'll continue taking orders, but it will probably be it'll be manufactured this week. HSN will receive it the next week, and so you'll get it within 2 weeks. So we are, because everything is custom made for you, you'll get it quickly.
It's an exciting opportunity to invest in ourselves, and that's how we started this morning. You know, a Sunday morning, we're talking about health, we're talking about wellness, we're talking about our eyes. We have a lot of people. Andrew spent maybe a good 10 minutes last hour reading through review after review after review. People talking about how they feel sharper, their vision feels better, feels stronger. I mean, really remarkable statements.
Well, great reviews talking about night vision, and night vision can be challenging to our independence, our quality of life. Great reviews talking about dry eye. We went through some reviews talking about floaters. And again, this is not a product that's a drug to treat any disease, but what it is designed to treat, it's not a disease. It's just normal aging.
Yes.
The normal age-related changes that we will experience in the way our eyes function. That's just to be expected. Just as every other system and every other organ in our body experiences changes, and to the extent that our eyes are unique, our body really provides. If we provide our body will provide extremely high concentrations of those critical compounds. If you look at lutein and zeaxanthin, they're present at concentrations thousands of times higher than any other part of our body except the brain. And the reason why the brain has high levels of lutein and zeaxanthin, because just as they protect the eye, those optical pigments protect the brain. And the brain and eye are related. The eye is just a specialized sort of almost organelle that's part of the brain. Our sensory organs tend to be all part of that sort of nervous system integration. But I was just going to read the generalized charts. I hadn't read them. There's some charts that I always put together that are just sort of a summary of a product. Summarizes the research, summarizes the science. This is designed to help protect the retina and macula from normal age-related changes and oxidative damage. It's also designed to help combat normal age-related changes in clarity, density, and the thickness of the lens of the eye. It absorbs harmful blue light and protects the macula and retina from ultraviolet radiation. Unfortunately, blue light is something that is emanated by our electronic devices, and we are just overly exposed to our electronic devices nowadays. Plus, we have to accommodate the use of those electronic devices, but meaning that short vision, we are constantly looking at things too long, too close, and that challenges the systems in our eye. Lutein and zeaxanthin are present in all tissues of the eye and most concentrated in the central macula, retina, and lens. These are the tissues that are the most challenged. That's why they're concentrated there. Our body knows what it's doing. They are essential to healthy, normal vision, particularly as we age. Their protective benefits have been consistently validated in extensive human, clinical, and large population studies. Not a couple of studies, extensively validated. And this is not something that's a drug that works on our eyes. Lutein and zeaxanthin, they are our eyes. Right. They are the macular pigments that are part of our eyes. Lutein and zeaxanthin are optical pigments required for vision and the protection of the retina and its macular region. There is no body tissue with higher concentrations of zeaxanthin and lutein than the retina and its macular region. The brain's a little bit behind. Despite their importance to vision and eye health, lutein and zeaxanthin cannot be produced by the body. They are not abundant in the human diet. Even if you just consume 2 capsules a week of this product, you'd be multiplying your intake of lutein and zeaxanthin.
Wow.
That's unfortunately, we get only, as you can see here, The American diet provides less than 2.5 milligrams daily of lutein and zeaxanthin, mostly as lutein, and most of the research I read says between 1 and 1.7 milligrams a day.
Wow.
For optimum eye health, experts recommend at least 6 milligrams to 14 milligrams daily of these essential optical pigments. 2 capsules of mine, you get 15. 1 capsule, you get 7.5. So your choice, you are perfectly in the sweet spot of the science. Substantial dietary change and supplements are the only way to correct this public health issue, and supplements deliver it. The center of the retina is a bright yellow spot called the macula lutea. Macula means spot, lutea meaning yellow. So the very name of the retina is derived from lutein and zeaxanthin. The macula is bright yellow because of its high concentration of lutein and zeaxanthin. They act as protective optical filters, like internal pair of sunglasses that don't cut down light, and help to improve visual acuity. They improve visual acuity, enhance contrast, and reduce visual discomfort under glare conditions. Again, these are basically summarizing the reviews we have. Help to naturally combat the normal age-related changes in the retina, lens, and macula, may afford protection from the normal changes in the eye associated with long-term use of computer monitors. Dietary consumption of lutein and zeaxanthin decreases with age, sadly. Healthy vision requires the optical pigments lutein and zeaxanthin. They are critical to the eye's protective systems and are most concentrated in the eye's most vulnerable tissues. Neither lutein nor zeaxanthin can be produced by the body. Food and/or supplements are the only sources of these 2 vital vision-producing and eye-protecting pigments. The lens, retina, and macula are constantly bombarded by harmful blue light and UV radiation. Lutein and zeaxanthin are perfectly designed and ideally situated to absorb harmful radiation before it damages critical eye tissues. Lutein and zeaxanthin protect the retina and its macula from normal age-related changes and from oxidative damage. The highest concentrations of lutein, zeaxanthin, and DHA, omega-3, are found in the macular region of the retina. The macula is responsible for the central core of our vision. Zeaxanthin is almost exclusively concentrated in the most critical part of the macula to protect it from oxidative damage. The typical American diet contains only trace amounts of zeaxanthin, and until recently, most eye supplements contain none at all. Still, most eye supplements contain no zeaxanthin.
Why?
It's really expensive.
Right.
And until the public is educated about its benefits and need, those companies don't decide. I decided as soon as zeaxanthin was available about a dozen years ago, I had to put it in my product.
Right.
Because it was ethically required. I knew I couldn't make as good a product. Meanwhile, I actually wanted to put it in the product longer ago than that, but it wasn't available. I wanted to put lutein into my product before it was available. We had to go about doing it by extracting it from botanicals until lutein became available as it is today in a concentrated, pure form, natural form as we deliver it today. But just a couple more charts here. And just lutein, zeaxanthin in the brain. The brain contains extremely high levels of lutein and zeaxanthin, second only to the eye.
Wow.
And the rest of the body is far behind. They're the principal protective carotenoids found in the human brain. Only the retina contains higher levels than the brain. The eye is a specialized structure of the brain, and it makes sense that lutein and zeaxanthin are critical to both. Clinical studies show a direct association with lutein and zeaxanthin levels in brain function. Apparently, lutein and zeaxanthin are essential for both visual function and neurological processing. Studies show that higher concentrations of lutein and zeaxanthin promote superior brain function as we age, including memory, cognition, language, learning, executive functions, and processing speed. There was a study, I'm going to remember it when I go back to it. I was going to bring it this morning, that was just published recently that looked at something very, very basic. It just looked at macular pigment levels. So it looked at lutein and zeaxanthin, and it looked at IQ. In an aging population. Guess what? Oh. Higher lutein and zeaxanthin levels tracked higher IQ in an aging population. So what it just underscores is the role of lutein and zeaxanthin is not isolated to the eyes, but it also plays a supportive and protective role in the brain.
I mean, I think for a lot of us, this is what we love. We love the facts. We love the substance behind knowing why Ultimate Eye is good for us. I said it before and I say it again. You know, it's not this glossy facade. It's not this song and a dance. There's no gimmicks or hype. It's just the real down-to-earth facts, which is why I know for so many of you, I don't need to kind of preach, as it were. You're already an Andrew Lessman fan. Ultimate Eye Support is one of the most challenging products that Andrew makes with regards cost-wise. Our pricing is the same as it was last year. I would hope that we've established that when you pit this against other products out there, that this is going to help you more, give you more, has more in it. So I don't think there's any challenge there. Price-wise, today is that day. If you look down here, so just to be clear what Andrew said, this is the 720. We are now down to the final few hundred of those.
Yeah, I just found out that we will be able to ship S720s, because the 720 will be running out soon. We'll be able to ship that before the end of next week.
Okay, that's
wonderful. I was just
wonderful.
speaking to Jenny and confirmed. So we'll be fine. So you won't be waiting very long. And the savings is so dramatic that it's worth the wait. And again, to be able to get these ingredients, our eye product, from the moment we put lutein in this product, and this goes back almost 20 years, it became, per capsule, among the most expensive products we could make. It only got worse when we added zeaxanthin. Right. It only got worse when we doubled the levels. But today's special is the best price per capsule of a Today Special that we've had. It matches last year's Today Special. So even back, if you went back 10 or 15 years ago, it wasn't as affordable as it is today.
So I would love to ask then, Andrew, because obviously Ultimate Eye Support is the very foundation of the offer today. We have the bundles with the astaxanthin. Why would I want that? Why would I get that with it?
Well, for me, and again, the lutein and zeaxanthin, those are the foundational ingredients. Those are the macular pigment. Astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is a carotenoid that, unless you're a biochemist, if you looked at its molecular structure, you'd say, wow, that looks exactly like zeaxanthin. And I think I do happen to have somewhere here, I have charts that show, I have a couple of good charts here. I want to show both of these. But here, these are molecular structures. These are the carbon chains that links, it's almost like lutein and zeaxanthin are sort of a two-headed worm.
Right.
This long carbon chain would be the body of the worm, then it has two heads. And that's where all the business takes place.
Okay.
And that's its capacity. This ring structure here is really its capacity to quench free radicals. So if we look at astaxanthin and we look at zeaxanthin, they look almost identical. These two oxygen groups are what differentiate astaxanthin from the two stereoisomers of zeaxanthin. So they're almost identical, the same length carbon chain. They can still straddle cell membranes. But what astaxanthin adds is another level of protection. And the research on astaxanthin, when you look at the research on zeaxanthin, and we haven't talked about this as much, visual accommodation. Visual accommodation, our eyes have to accommodate. Basically, it has to take what we hand it and deal with it. So that's what our eyes are stuck with doing. Some of the things our eyes have to accommodate are changes in focal distance. Whether we're looking at something up close and working on our phone for an hour straight, or 2 hours straight, or 3 or 5 or 8 or 10 hours straight, whatever we might be doing, or on a computer, the same type of thing. And then all of a sudden our eyes have to be able to focus at distance. Or say we're working inside and then we go outside into bright light. Or say we're in a bright lit room and then we're going outside into the dark and we're driving. The ability for eyes to accommodate change, whether it's in focal distance or dark or light, that's something that lutein and zeaxanthin, there's an abundance of research on. Astaxanthin has as exciting, or perhaps even more exciting, research in terms of visual accommodation. Incredible studies out of Asia talking about, what do they used to call them? Visual display terminals. I'm sort of picturing the research as I read it with VDT. So the visual display terminal, when we'd work in computers in offices, some of the earliest research showing the benefits in terms of that visual accommodation, talking about eye fatigue, lutein, zeaxanthin, astaxanthin. So if lutein and zeaxanthin were the foundational components, astaxanthin is kind of the icing on the cake. If you're someone who's really struggling or suffering from eye fatigue, the accommodation issues that come from the modern lifestyle we have that just challenge our eyes. Plus, it's one thing if you're 20, 25, 30 years old, or 10, 12, 15 years old, dealing with accommodation issues. This is a graph that basically shows accommodation with age. This is accommodation when we're born. And on a scale, it's about 14 diopters of accommodation. And when we're at about 16 years of age, it's about 12 diopters. Still great. You could look at your smartphone all day long. And when you're about, say, 30 years, you're about between 8.5 diopters of accommodation. You're still doing fine. When you're 40, all of a sudden, you're at about 5 diopters versus 14. And when you're 50 years of age, you're at about 2.5 diopters. It's about 50 years of age that we start struggling with accommodation, whether it's focal accommodation, which this chart is showing, or accommodation for dark or light, you know, when we're going from different environments. So when you look at lutein, zeaxanthin, those are probably accommodations to whether it's dark or light or focal accommodation. That's something that we struggle with. But lutein and zeaxanthin, an abundance of research talking about accommodation, astaxanthin, even more research in that regard.
So Andrew, if I'm you know 40, 50, 60, 70, and I'm now down to that level of accommodation, if I take Ultimate Eye Support, how will that help me?
Well, what we've read, I mean, the way accommodation changes and the reason why it changes, the age-related changes in our eyes, it's not necessarily going to change the fact that accommodation is a problem. Accommodation basically informs us, especially when it's focal accommodation, that our eyes are changing. The kind of accommodation where lutein, zeaxanthin, and astaxanthin are at their very best is when it comes to fatigue.
Right.
And when it comes to that light-related accommodation, dark to light, responding to glare, because lutein and zeaxanthin are optical filters. So when it comes to eye fatigue, all of these normal age-related changes, they take place. And that's because our eyes are changing. But these carotenoids are the ingredients our eyes use to sort of stem the tide, to reduce the discomfort or reduce the adaptation that these changes cause. And that's what the science talks about. That's what the reviews speak about. And the reviews, it's great the last, say, 10 or 15 years that we've had reviews on my products, because for me, the reviews speak more clearly than I could ever speak about the product. And that's why I always encourage someone to read the reviews. I don't write them. We do not edit them at all. They're untouched, unedited. They're the unabashed truth about the product, as I say. So to think about a product like this, that people praise this product, and I have a little review that talks about that we have hundreds of times that people use the word love when they talk about the product, or use the word miracle, or whatever it might be. And it's not that the product's a miracle, but they are astounded at what a difference a product, an intelligently made product that follows the research and science on eye health, the difference it can make.
Your vitamins with Andrew Lessman is the highest rated line on HSN, with cumulatively thousands upon thousands of reviews.
Tens of thousands. I think we're somewhere. We need to calculate it. The last I had heard, we were around 60,000 or so reviews, averaging over 4.6 stars. And one of the reasons why is my products are designed to be perfectly reviewed. That's my goal. If I create a product that's badly reviewed, guess what I do? Yep. I make it go away. Carnislim, our liquid carnitine, it didn't taste great. It wasn't well reviewed. So finally, we improved it with acetyl L-carnitine, higher potency, lower price, and perfectly reviewed. Right. So my goal is to only make products. If I make a product that's not well reviewed, the only thing I should do is make it go away. Right. Because if it's not well reviewed, it's not serving you. So with this product in particular, the Ultimate Eye, when you can literally see a difference, notice a difference. I have probably 100 reviews here that talk about doctors seeing a difference. That's an opportunity I think we should all embrace. And as I said before, you don't have to take a handful of capsules a day. I take 2 capsules of Ultimate Eye a day. 1 capsule is great as well. Or you could take, even if you took 1 capsule every other day, you're still multiplying the levels of lutein and zeaxanthin in a typical American diet. Andrew, more than anybody I've ever met, is wonderfully obsessed with your experience.
That's the top and bottom of everything. Has it worked for you? How do you feel about it? He's obsessed with it, and that's why so many people will never buy any other brand. Folks, we are coming to a conclusion. We have about 4 or 5 minutes left. Andrew only has one more show way late tonight due to limited quantities that we have. If your eyes are important to you, and heaven knows they are the windows to the soul, what are we doing today to help give them the best? You know, lutein and zeaxanthin, it's been fascinating to me. I didn't understand or know these terms, but realizing that for you and for me, we're not getting what we need in our regular diets. So if we're not getting it, what can we do to support them? And with this, you get it.
But hopefully what a little bit of a takeaway is that we can get lutein and zeaxanthin from our diet. We could certainly get lutein. It's harder to get zeaxanthin, but it really underscores that you need to make a shift away from, say, iceberg lettuce and make shift towards. We at home, I constantly, Muriel makes pea soup, asparagus soup out of her soup cookbook. Yeah. That is my snack throughout the day. You have those little, those little glass 8-ounce Corning bowls, and there'll be like 15 or 20 of them in the refrigerator, and that's my little snack. They're low in calories, but invariably they're green soups. Yeah. Because I recognize the importance of lutein and zeaxanthin. You know, I'm immersed in the science and reading the clinical studies. If you did the same and just went online and read about lutein and zeaxanthin, and you could just do research on it and try to find more technical scientific studies and just read the conclusions. You don't have to be a scientist to understand them. And just read the conclusions. Some of the things that I've used in our science charts here today. You wouldn't want to go a day without either taking a product like this, it doesn't have to be mine, or being sure that you're eating a diet rich in green leafy vegetables. You wouldn't want to go a day without eating a diet rich in anthocyanins, like blueberries or bilberries, whether it's those dark purple jams or cherries or things like that. Those compounds are protective. And they're not just protective of our eyes, they're protective of systems throughout our body. But this is an area where the clinical science is not just available, it's abundant. I would say it's overwhelming. And it's not just lutein and zeaxanthin. It's sort of, people don't question, say, calcium in our bones or glucosamine in our joints because they're structural. Or maybe even omega-3s because 2/3 of our brain is DHA and omega-3. So how could you question the importance of lutein and zeaxanthin when it is absolutely not randomly concentrated, but exceedingly highly concentrated in the macular region of our retina? They are the optical pigments. They protect those tissues over the course of our lifetime. And if you look at the research, and what I love is the epidemiologic research. I've always said this, to go back to shows from probably almost 30 years ago, and I talked about the kind of studies that I like aren't necessarily studies where you dose someone with something and you see what happens. I like studies when you look at large populations and you look at how they behave, and you look at the outcomes in large populations. You can't really hide those sorts of things. And that's when they identified in large populations like smoking risk or things like that. But there's one thing that's inescapable. Lutein and zeaxanthin, an abundance of lutein and zeaxanthin in our diet creates higher levels of macular pigment in our eyes, and that's associated with people having healthier eyes as they age. So there's no escape. You don't have to get this product, but hopefully we all get that we need to eat more green leafy vegetables. And I don't want to sound like everyone's grandma, but we all want good vision, and it's part of having a quality life. And having healthy vision is associated with having a healthier diet.
And I'm just being honest and open about it when saying that, you know, I personally don't eat enough of the green leafy vegetables. Perhaps you do. So something like Ultimate Eye is going to be a wonderful, wonderful addition into my daily routine. This is what Andrew's been doing for over 35 years. As you can see and gather, it's simply the best, the finest research that goes in. Every part of this product, of this process, is defined as simply the finest. It is the best you can buy. And if you compare this to other eye products on the market, and we invite you, of course, always to do that, you will see that they just don't stack up as much. One thing to bear in mind, Andrew said 20 cents a day, there or thereabouts, which is really wonderful value. If you are doing the bundle, and it's a rarity that this happens, typically it's only reserved for $600 laptops. They did put the bundle on